Love Central. Today's fruit of the Spirit is kindness. Now, we've all been spending a lot of time with our families recently, and so today we're going to think about ways that we can show kindness to those around us, especially our families. And to help us with this, I'm first going to read from the letter Paul wrote to the Ephesians. You can read along in your own Bibles. We'll start at chapter 4, verse 31, and go through to chapter 5, verse 2. Paul writes, "Get rid of all hard feelings, anger and rage. Stop all fighting and lying. Don't have anything to do with any kind of hatred. Be kind to and tender to one another. Forgive one another, just as God forgave you because of what Christ has done. You are the children that God dearly loves, so follow his example. Lead a life of love just as Christ did. He loved us. He gave himself up for us. He was a sweet-smelling offering and sacrifice to God." So this is very practical advice that we have from Paul. He says, get rid of all hard feelings, anger and rage. He says, stop fighting, stop lying, and don't hate. Doing these things is the opposite of kindness. So why not take a minute to sit quietly and ask God to forgive you for any hard feelings that you've held on to, or anger or rage towards other people. Ask him to forgive you if you've been fighting or lying. You can pause this video now to do this. Dear God, we are sorry for when we have behaved in ways that are the opposite to kind. Please forgive us and help us to grow in kindness through the power of your Holy Spirit. Amen. Now, Paul continues in his letter to the Ephesians. He says, be kind and tender-hearted towards one another. How can we do this? Well, we can start by forgiving each other, just as God has forgiven us. Kindness is showing love and compassion and concern for other people. In chapter 5, Paul says, you are children of God, dearly loved. So follow his example and lead a life of love, just as Christ did. Do you remember a few weeks ago when we looked at the story of the Good Samaritan? In that story, a stranger helps an injured man, taking care of him when others have ignored him and walked straight by. The stranger was kind. Being kind can be easy. For example, every time we're polite to someone, that's an easy way to be kind. But it can be hard too. The Good Samaritan is one example of kindness that took time and effort. We can all make the choice to be kind. Can you think of some ways that you can choose to be kind this week? Perhaps you could help in the garden or around the house. You could write a letter or phone someone up who is lonely. Tell someone how much you appreciate them. Do a chore for someone else. Comfort someone or take time just to listen to them. Perhaps not get angry or fight when you usually would. Instead, show forgiveness. Now, I'm sure you can think of many more ways to show kindness in your homes this week and beyond. Maybe write some of them down and challenge yourself to see how many kind things you can do this week.